Is Ashen worth our time? We're about to find out. Welcome everyone to episode 229 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, what's an Ashen?
You know, I'll let you know later because I just thought it was, because this game is kind of dreary and gray.
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
It's not. We are going to be talking about Ashen, developed by A44. And this
sounds
game,
like a steak sauce, maybe.
Yeah, well, it's 44 of A1 steak sauces combined to make a game development studio. So that's what happened.
It's just 44 bottles of sauce.
A1 sauce. That's impressive. If that's all it takes to make a game is 44 bottles of A1.
Kudos.
Yeah. Well, this game, Ashen, came out in December of 2018 on Windows and Xbox One.
Okay.
And then the following year on Switch and PS4.
Okay.
Yeah. I played this on the PC. I'm going to put an asterisk on this. The install size is 16.79 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
That is quite large compared to on the Series S, where it is only 6.97 gigabytes.
Oh, wow. That is quite large. That is quite the difference.
Do you know where those 10 gigs went?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. We'll talk about our dislikes. but before we get to that, what kind of game is this?
I put a very blandly or boringly third-person action RPG.
Okay. I put third-person Souls-like.
Yes. To be fair, Souls-like are action RPGs.
But I was being a little bit more like it encompasses the action RPG, but you've got the boundaries of a Souls-like, I would say.
Yes.
It's like not a Venn diagram. It's more like Souls-like inside action RPG.
Yeah. Action RPG is a bigger thing, and inside of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I meant to do. Souls like inside, action RPG on the outside.
Yeah. Every square is a rectangle, but not every rectangle is a square.
Exactly. All right. But now we're not talking about rectangles, we're talking about loops. And what about this loop?
File all the edges off, and you get a loop off a square. I have complete quests by exploring and battling bandits to unlock new gear and abilities.
I wrote stay alive while completing objectives for your pals.
Yeah. Your pals send you on quests.
Yeah.
And those quests involve getting attacked by bandits.
Yes, indeed. All right. Let's roll into those likes, though.
I appreciate that there is a simplified character creation, which made it quick and easy for me. But I also was able to make a character that I felt kind of sort of represented myself,
Okay.
Even with the simplification of it all.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There's not many toggles that you can do. Obviously, male, female, facial hair, and skin tone. I think that was about it, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't do builds other than male or female. I was like, cool. But it kind of gives you a very quick intro on how the game looks. And it is quite an interesting look. It's almost like they're pieces of either clay or or like wood, just kind of like slightly carved. And yeah, it's just unique, like faceless. But then you have the mustache. Like I had the mustachio. Was a Cavalier, I believe, was the facial hairstyle. And yeah, but it's just, there's no eyes, no nose, no mouth. That's it.
And you don't have to customize any of those things because you don't have them.
Exactly. I wonder if it was part of the development thing. Like they're just like, screw it, I don't want to deal with this, and they just made it all like completely flat. Like, good, ship it.
It reminds me of those little stick figure men that you used if you're like studying animation.
Yes.
Or drawing.
Yes.
Right.
That's probably exactly what it was. They're just like, take it. We're done. It's fine.
But I think, as we always say, that simplified art style means that this has a style.
Yeah.
The style looks good. It will age gracefully because it's stylized.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a game from 2018. Still looks
could have been made last week.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it's just like the game starts out with this like just very like large scale story that's happened, and you're kind of like thrown into the middle of there's like this whole folklore, right? I guess
Yeah.
is this like Norse? Because I like it talked about the realms.
Yeah.
I said like 9 realms too, and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was like, yeah, I guess they describe what the Ashen is.
Yes, it is like a bird, like a phoenix.
Yeah, like the phoenix falling after doing its thing and rising again. When it rises again, bad stuff happens and you have to like protect it or something. I don't know. It was very highbrow, maybe too highbrow for me or something. I was like, oh wow, but it was voiced very well, I will say too.
Yes, the intro was.
Actually, there was a lot of voice acting outside of your character.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you have a silent protagonist type syndrome here.
Yeah.
But the rest of the people in the world seem to be chatty Cathy's.
How are they talking? They have no mouths.
Maybe you're hearing them telepathically.
Ooh, that's possible. But yeah, what else you got here, Tom?
I felt pretty rewarded for exploring. I'm the kind of person who goes off the beaten path.
Yeah.
I ended up battling this big crab monster.
Oh.
And then after I beat the crab monster, in the crab monster's cave was an item that increased my stamina bar.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
You know, just a random thing that I went and found. It wasn't a quest, wasn't anything. I was just on my way somewhere else, and I was like, "Hey, that's a monster in there. That's not a bandit. I'm going to fight a monster."
Wow!
And I went and I did.
Jedi Survivor just gave you that strength and will to go into uncharted territories, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well done.
You know, I think generally speaking, things like that help make the world feel alive.
Yeah.
Right. So there are plants and animals and all kinds of sounds of chittering and things going on around you. And not all of them can be interacted with, like this crab monster. But, you know, there are bunnies hopping around. There are birds flying out of bushes. Like, stuff's happening.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, the combat itself also was challenging, and you always had to like have your head on a swivel because these bandits just come out of nowhere.
Out of the woodwork for real.
And like literally, sometimes I would hear someone like just screaming and throwing spears at me, and they're like up above just throwing stuff. I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's crazy. So yeah, you are constantly on alert, high alert because of that. And
I got a velociraptored a couple of times.
Oh my goodness!
Where I was looking at the bad guy in front of me, and I was like, I've got you, and then I got whammed from the left or from the right.
Clever girl.
Yep. From the bandit I didn't even know was there.
Amazing. Yeah, but I would say the nice thing is you have an AI companion.
Yes, you do.
And I was like, wow. And you know what? He was not a useless AI companion.
A competent AI companion.
Honestly, like I was like so happy that this guy was around because I was getting my butt kicked in a lot. But like he was doing his thing. He was reviving me, and like he was just going to town on these guys, like distracting them. Well, I was just kind of like getting the final shot in. So it was great. I really appreciated that, and especially for this type of game, I was like, oh, it's just so nice to not like. Yes, you do have to be on high alert, but like having that AI companion gets you just lowers the intensity level a little bit.
Yeah, it does, because you have that possibility, at least, that someone's going to pick you back up.
Yeah, and just like having that safety net in terms of, you know, if you do get surrounded by a bunch of bandits, there's someone else like just there waiting for helping you out. So it's good
as long as he doesn't go down too.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Anything else here you want to talk about?
I appreciated the flexibility on how you're progressing. There is a main quest, but there are also plenty of side quests. And I was doing the side quests, and the side quests give good rewards. So like one of the side quest characters, by helping them out, you get like a refillable potion bottle.
Yes.
So that every time you come into town, your health potions refill. Otherwise, you're using a non-renewable resource for that. And then another path that I went down, I ended up acquiring a different companion from doing the side quests. Yeah. So
like you had
I only ever saw one in the field with me.
Oh, okay.
But I could be mistaken. I don't know. Like
interesting.
The second one was added, to the town and to the. I could start taking quests from them and stuff like that. So
yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, and like I said, there is some story going on, and it is like it was intriguing enough for me to be like, okay, what's happening? How do I fit into all this? And like, yes, I know I'm trying to revive this Ashen, but it's like, though, like you said, the world is definitely feels alive. You always have to be ready for battle. But like then I got to a place where I got into this. I think it was the main quest, and it was like going into a temple of some sort, and there's a boss fight in there. So
all right.
Yeah, but I'm ready to talk about dislikes unless you are.
Yeah. So I'm ready to move on as well. You've been talking a lot about how you like this story, and I just kept my mouth shut because I disagree with you strongly. The prologue, the intro, I was just like, they're just blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm the kind of person who likes really like fantasy, wordy stuff.
That's surprising. What was it? What was it about it that like it turned you off?
I think it's just so like hard to follow, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, or that like they feel very like grandiose. But I can't take them seriously because they're all plastic men with no faces. Like, I'm not sure. I think it just doesn't. It's not a good fit.
Interesting. Okay.
I kind of feel like they should have gone less on the plot, or at least rolled it out at a slower pace. It's hard for me to take this seriously just based on the art style.
Well, I mean, the thing when you're talking about that, like as you're talking about that, I was just thinking about. It's almost like they're talking about a story from an olden time, and like the way that the characters are portrayed or drawn, you could almost think it's like those old like stick figure, like the mural paintings back in the day. So very simplified in that sense. So it's like I could see, if that's what they were trying to go for, like I can understand that.
Maybe that is.
So I was like, okay, but yeah, like that's just something that I was just thinking about right now. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like we switch places in terms of this because like a lot of times, yeah, like if something's like just very ham-fisted and stuff like that, but like there's just something so fantastical. Like I do like the mythology, like kind of that stuff too. And but like the luster of that quickly faded for me because this is a Souls-like game. And I was just like, good Lord, like I was constantly getting rocked by anyone and everyone. I will say just to kind of, I guess, quickly go back to there was a lot of opportunities or items for you to heal with. Whereas like, I feel like a Souls game, they limit you to those particular potions that you get later on in this game. Like you can pick up items throughout the world that help you kind of regain, health and stamina quickly. So I was like, cool, I appreciate that. And there's like no limit to those things too, from what I understand so far. So other than with the potion, but yeah.
I will segue off of what you just said to highlight something I didn't like, which was I got incapacitated by the bandits.
Yeah.
And my companion was stuck in a sit-stand loop.
Really?
So he just kept standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down. And I'm like, well, he's never coming to revive me.
I mean, that's why they gave you the option to give up.
And I did.
But like, that's funny. He did not do that. But I will say, the thing that was frustrating for me is that the co-op pal would just disappear randomly.
Mine did as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, where'd you go?
It's like, so like, especially after you establish the town area, right? It's right after that where all of a sudden you're like, okay, let's go, pal. We're going out to do our next quest. And and like, as you're walking around the village, you're not holding on to any of your weapons. And like, as you leave the town, you start to equip your stuff. But like, then they're not behind me. I'm like, wait, what? Where? And like, I know there's an option to beckon, or like, I guess there's like a ping system or something like that. Didn't really work.
Yeah, didn't do anything for me either.
I was like, well, what's going? And then like, as I was getting my ass beat, sometimes then he might swoop in. I'm like, okay, so is this the only way to get him back now? is anytime I'm just going to get
to be in mortal danger.
it just swoops in like a Marvel versus Capcom like a co-op partner or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, it was that was definitely frustrating to deal with. And yeah, I like for me the other part I was trying to get like the timing right with parrying or blocking. Because I feel like everything you do in this game takes away your stamina.
Yes.
So it's other than walking, like literally anything else is killing your stamina. I'm like, ugh. So you really have to be patient with your combat. But it's like you can't be if you've got 3 people on you. I'm just swinging like a madman, and then all of a sudden I'm out of stamina. I'm just stuck and wait for them to wail on me. So yeah.
Yeah, and no disagreement for me there.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the control scheme, or at least the default control scheme, and then I discovered it's not fully customizable, and I was like,
yeah.
Like you can pick from a couple of different options, and I guess maybe one of them's better than the others, but like it wasn't fixable. You know what I mean? I wasn't happy with the way the controls were, and none of the other 2 or 3 or 4 options were really fixed my problem.
I mean, because I've like tried so many Souls-like games, I'm like I was used to using the bumper and triggers to do the actions, like the attack actions and block actions and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice if there was just a bit more customization. And kind of going back to the boss fight that I was talking about earlier, the thing that really frustrated me about that boss fight was the thing friggin' heals itself.
Oh no!
And then like, so I guess there's something I need to do, and I don't know what to do, and the game doesn't really like tell me. So it's like basically I'm being punished for and then I immediately die because it got all of its life back.
Yeah, because you don't know what to do and the game hasn't told you.
Right.
And that's on my dislikes too, is that some of the tutorial parts are like delivered late.
Yeah.
Like I went and I found a shield off a corpse, and the game hadn't told me about how to equip other items yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just fumbled through the buttons until I figured it out and I equipped it. And then like later on, like much later on, it was like, oh, when you find an item, you can equip it this way. And I'm like, I mean, maybe that should have triggered when I picked up an item.
That's really weird. And the other part, I know I kind of also alluded to this earlier in our how big the game is. Even though the game is 16.79 gigabytes on the PC, it did not work on my PC. It just failed. It kept failing. I kept restarting the computer, uninstalled, reinstalled it. Did not work. So I ended up playing this on xCloud.
Wow.
Yeah. So
to be fair, I had problem with the music stuttering. It wasn't perfect peachy keen on the Series S either. There was some hiccups.
That's so weird. Because I mean, I guess I would be technically playing the same version as you. You know, it is an Xbox version that that's probably streaming or whatever on one of the Microsoft servers or whatnot. So that was disappointing. And the other thing, like, because I guess the game, like we kind of talked about with the exploration, there's some platforming involved, and it just didn't feel good because I think this is another game where the stupid jump button is like on Y. I think,
and that might be why I said the control scheme is strange.
Yeah,
because we've played enough of the Souls style games with the triggers, and so I'm like, all right, whatever. And especially if you're going to do something with your left hand separately from doing something with your right hand, I understand why you would do that.
Yeah.
But I do think, maybe it was the jump button. Maybe there was something else going on where I just was like, I don't like the way these controls are laid out.
Yeah, agreed. Like, I think dodge was like I was placed in the wrong button. I don't know. It was weird. I agree with you. The button placements were kind of odd in this game. I think that's all I got in terms of. Oh, well, there is co-op. I did do a little reading, and it's but it's frustrating. I don't know. There's no crossplay, from what I understand, though. So
I will say one other thing that I need to call out is silliness. Like I'm doing a quest for this companion named Jokel, right? Jokel. And he is standing next to me because we were out on the quest together. Yeah. And the game says, bring this item to this character. And I'm like, I turn to my left and go,
here you go.
How do I give you this item? Nope. we got to go back to town, and I got to go find this guy, sitting down at his bench
really?
in order to turn in the quest.
That's lame.
Yeah, just silliness,
Yeah. It's definitely I feel like this game has some weird, quirky bugs, and it's unfortunate.
I kind of get from a programming reason why that could happen or how that could happen.
Yeah.
But it just feels silly,
Well, I mean, A1 steak sauce bottles don't have hands, so it must be hard to program.
That's what it is.
They just have sauce all over the keyboard. It's just
you leave the logic of the game to 44 bottles of steak sauce. Things like this happen.
Yeah. Oh well. All right. So should we get to our other thoughts then?
Yeah.
All right. Well, how long to beat says this game takes about 15 hours to complete.
It's actually less than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, definitely not bad. And this, as I've proven already, this game is xCloud capable, so you can play it on the go. I do not know, though, if it is cross-save compatible, because I never got to install.
Never started that save.
So
fair enough.
Yeah, just buyer beware with that stuff. And that's what I got. What you got, Tom?
Okay, so reading up a little bit on the game, the developers took inspiration from The Road by Cormack McCarthy, and the combat stamina bars are inspired by Dark Souls. No big surprise there. The studio has only made 2 games. This with Ashen.
Yeah.
And another game called Flintlock, which released in 2024.
Yeah, okay.
So a relatively young studio, right? I wonder how the sauce put together that Flintlock game. I guess we could look into it.
Yeah.
So playing online with other people is possible.
Yeah.
But coordinating that apparently is very tricky.
Oh, no.
What I read online, if somebody's interested in trying to figure this out, you have to use the same code and meet in the same place in the game world. My experience, the reading up on this reminds me a lot of some of the Pokemon online playing, where it really is kind of important that you're friends and important that you've already shared friend codes.
Right.
And then you also have to be in the same place at the same time.
Right.
But what's interesting here is that when you've successfully worked out this magic, the other player will appear, hop into the body of your companion.
Oh.
And the only way that you know that it is no longer AI is that the gear that this companion now starts using is the other player's gear.
Huh.
So the weapons, the abilities, all that sort of stuff. So if your Jokel all of a sudden starts acting really amazing, it's probably being piloted by a real player.
Okay. Interesting. The stuff that you mentioned also kind of reminded me of how setting up a co-op session in Elden Ring or something like that too.
Yeah.
You just need to have a particular item, you need to use this and blah, blah, blah. And then it finally works. It's like, okay, cool. I don't know why they have to make it difficult.
I don't know.
All right. Well, Tom, we need to now give our final thoughts here, our final decision. Are we keeping this game on our respective hard drives, or maybe in my case, the cloud? Or are we drawing sad faces on these characters and never hearing from them again?
So, I mean, I've got to be honest, yet another open world kind of, and not survival in that you have to manage your health or your hunger or anything, but it is kind of like survive in the wild and go finish these quests and sort of game. So for me, that puts this game, already at a disadvantage because these are not my style of games. But it is a very small footprint. It's under 7 gigs.
Yeah.
And it is visually distinct.
Yeah.
From other games in this sort of pseudo genre. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to leave it on my hard drive. But I don't know how much I'm really excited to go back to it. So the main quest and its blah, blah, blah story doesn't really drive me, but I did have a lot of fun playing it. So I'm on the fence. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, like, look, I feel like I'm in the same boat. I'm curious to try it again, but like maybe with someone in a co-op fashion. But it's just more like my problem, like, but the fact that you're saying it's like difficult to set up the co-op thing is also kind of is making me lean even stronger to saying I'm just going to pass on this, because it's like, why make that difficult too? The game's already difficult. Why make the co-op part of it difficult? Is what makes no sense. Makes no sense. So.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice. And I made a choice too. So those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Blue Sky at 1H1D, on Twitter at TC1H1D, and Threads at TC1H1D. Shoot us an email at tc1h1d@gmail.com, or check out our next streams, twitch.tv/1h1d. We do those randomly, like kind of like this show. And 1H1D, we put this stuff on YouTube. So, check the video out, make a comment. Maybe, is this one of the better Souls-like games? Does the story get better for Tom? Yeah. I don't know. Something for us to know. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever. That'll help. Maybe. I don't know. So 1H1D is part of that QTB network. And if you like any great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebuild.com/network. Now, Tom.
Yes, Chris. Is it time to randomly select another game?
Not this time.
What?
Yeah, because next episode we have a guest and a request.
A
guest request from Rick from Pixel Project Radio, and he wants us all to try out Oblivion Remastered.
Okay, because Oblivion might be disqualified because I've played classic Oblivion. But I have not encountered this remastered version.
Yes. And some of you may know my feelings about Bethesda games, but you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. And see what was all the rave back then and now. So
let's find out what the fuss is about.
Yeah, let's see what all this fuss is about on Oblivion. But that is it for this episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one.
Thanks, everybody.